It remains one of the biggest stains on this country that you were forced to pay an annual £159 poll tax to the biased BBC. That's even if you never watch and never listen to even one piece of content from the British Bashing Corporation, but choose to have a television set to, tune into, for example, GBNews. But what remains an even bigger disgrace is that hard-working folk, including the elderly, have been sent to jail for non-payment of what the B prefers us to refer to as the licence fee. It's infuriating that in a free society we are not free to boycott the BBC unless we give up the right to consume any form of TV. This week, even French President Macron agreed to cut his country's broadcasting tax. It's unbelievable that a Conservative government has allowed this anti-democratic madness to continue in this country for so long, especially in a rapidly changing media environment moving towards streaming and subscription. And especially when the BBC's output has become everything that so many of us fight against: divisive, woke madness. Like the way they tried to shame the Lionesses because they happen to be white.
It was an historic 8-goal victory for England last night as the Lionesses secured their place in the quarter-finals. But all starting 11 players and the 5 substitutes that came onto the pitch were all white. And that does point towards a lack of diversity in the women's game in England. And it's something that...
So that was last month, but let's be honest, the BBC's shameful agenda has been clear for years.
I suppose, looking at the crowd, it is a very white crowd, mostly.
When we say we want to kill Whitey, we don't really mean we want to kill Whitey, we do.
Why bother with a milkshake when you could get some battery acid?
Well, General, thank you. I think your flag is not up to standard size government interview measurements. I think it's just a little bit small, but that's your department, really.
You're going to the developing world saying phase out coal at the same time as not ruling out a new coal mine in Britain. We started the Industrial Revolution. We should have closed
I've just given you the statistics before
Boris Johnson faces calls to bring in tighter COVID restrictions in England over Christmas.
For days, there's been a growing sense around here that more restrictions for England are inevitable.
Good evening. Dominic Cummings broke the rules. The country can see that, and it's shocked the government cannot.
He will now be, I think, the first Prime Minister to be investigated for potentially misleading the Houses of Parliament. Very serious, and that could, you would agree, lead to your resignation.
I'm going to do something now that the British government doesn't always do, and welcome some foreigners.
He's a man who's lied to the Queen, lied to the House of Commons, lied to the public, and they don't trust him
what people
anymore.
see, Geeta, is a witch hunt led by the BBC.
This programme that I'm on now was showing pictures of him looking like Hannibal Lecter at the beginning.
Oh, come on.
Okay, I can show you right here. Look at that. You've got razor blades. Does that guy look like somebody who's been given a birthday cake, or someone who's just been locked up for something at the Old Bailey? This thing has been blown totally out of proportion.
Right. That's what we are being forced to pay for. I'm hopeful today of change finally coming after the Tory leadership favourite said she will order a review into whether failing to pay for the BBC should still be a criminal offence. So Liz Truss revealed she is concerned that 74% of the 114,000 people convicted for non-payment in 2019 were women. In an exclusive interview with the Mail Plus, she said, "What I'm very concerned about on the TV licence fee is how many women have ended up in prison for non-payment, a disproportionate number. I want to look at how we can make sure that we reform the TV licence fee so we don't end up with those punitive results. I'll look at all the options. I do want to reform the way it works." As Culture Secretary, Truss supporter Nadine Dorries has been determined to axe the licence fee altogether, something she says the other Tory leadership contender Rishi Sunak, quote, blocked for many months. A plan for a post-licence fee BBC from 2027, when it's legally allowed to happen, must be part of the next Prime Minister's plan. But decriminalisation of the licence fee, that needs to happen immediately. In Britain in 2022, we must be free to watch commercial television while refusing to pay for the destructive and unpatriotic BBC as a democratic right.